Alright, y'all, third time's a charm. What's wrong with my camera? Okay. Yeah, it's a little better. Look, y'all can see me in all my glittery glory now. Hopefully you can see that because I can't see. Hopefully you can see it. It's like all different colors. I can't see what I'm even pointing at right now, but I am swinging you, Dorcas. Oh, I'm a little blind right now from the sun. Looks a little crazy. What smell, baby? What's it smell like? So, anyways. Third time's a charm, hopefully. This is my third and final piece of my story, of why I think it's so wrong to call CPS on people when you don't see actual child abuse or neglect, because neglect is just as bad as abuse. If there's people that are streaming for 8 hours straight and you know damn well there's nobody else watching the kids, yes, that's neglect. But if you don't see anything with your own eyes, don't do that shit. Because you're not just hurting the person that you don't like, you're hurting an innocent child that does not deserve to be put through bullshit. Because even like with my story, yeah, my kids were never, you know, threatened to be taken or anything of that matter. But my kids knew there was something wrong. My kids knew that I was stressed because my motherhood was being questioned. Wow, that's bad lighting. It's all bad lighting. You know, I've talked about this on my channel before. I've lost 3 kids altogether. 2, okay, I am swinging you. 2 to miscarriage, and then my last one was a stillborn. And all I ever wanted was to be a mother. That's all I ever wanted, was to be a mommy. And I never thought that I'd get to have my own kids. Because after my stillborn, I was terrified to try again. I didn't want to try again because I could not handle another loss like that. I could not do it. And somehow my little miracle baby here, I had no problems with her. At one point, her kidneys weren't as developed as they should have been for how far along I was. But that was literally like the only thing, and apparently that happens a lot. But of course, because of my pregnancy history, they had me all scared and worried about it, when that's actually not that uncommon. So, had me stressed out for nothing, which is just great for a woman that's, you know, had nothing but trouble. Anyways, that's not the point. But all I ever wanted was to be a mom. And then to finally have my little miracle family, my gorgeous, all I've ever wanted family, and then to be questioned as a mother, it was horrible. It still bothers me to this day that my motherhood wasn't questioned at all. Because anybody that knows me knows that my kids are my number one. My kids are my world. I love my kids more than I love myself. I love my kids more than I love my husband. I love my kids more than anything else. I said something mean yesterday. Mike and I were bickering around, and we were having a little argument, and he said something about, I don't know, something about us not being together, basically. It wasn't quite us not being together, but it was something close to that. I can't remember what it was, but I was like, well, I don't care because, oh, he said that, that if he left, that, Patience wasn't going to stay with me, meaning that she wasn't going to live with me. He didn't, I took it as, like, he would, like, take her from me, because that's always been my biggest fear, is that if we split up, he would take Patience from me. He always says that he wouldn't, but it's still in the back of my mind to fear that, he would, because she's my child. I've been there since she was 3 years old. I've known her grandma and was around since she was 3 years old, but I got with Mike when she was 4. You know, she's 11 now, so, I mean, that's my baby. Can't take her from me. But he said something along the lines of she wouldn't be staying with me, so I took it as, like, the wrong way. He meant living with me, but I took it as like he would take her from me because that's already my fear. And I said, well, I basically said patience is all I cared about anyways. Like, I don't care about you, I only care about the kids. And he was like, oh, you finally admitted it. I already knew that. I already knew you were only staying with me because of her. Which is not true. Because I know that she would bug him to death until he let her see me, so I know I'd still see her. I don't even know why I'm talking this. But anyways, everybody that knows me knows that I fucking love my kids. My kids are my number one. I would never do anything to hurt them. I will always do whatever's in their best interest. I want to show my kids to you guys so bad. I want to share my perfect little family. My family's not perfect at all. But to me they are. To me they are the most beautiful family you would ever see. I don't have a real life family other than them. I don't have aunts or uncles or cousins or mom or dad, or I don't have any of that. So I make my family on the internet with you guys, and I want so badly to share my real little perfect family here with my internet family, and I can't do that, and it sucks really bad. But it's because I think it's what's best for my kids right now. You know, I always do what I think's best for them. I try. I'm not perfect, but point being, everybody that knows me knows that my kids are my number one. And to have my mothering skills called into question and be treated like a bad parent because I once had an addiction way before I even had kids. I quit drugs before Autumn was even thought of. About 8 to 10 months before Autumn was ever even. No, it was a little over a year actually before Autumn was even thought of. I quit drugs. So it's not like, you know, my drug history ever affected her. Anyways, so where was I at whenever I quit the last video? So my caseworker, we could never get a hold of her. She basically opened a case on me and then just like ghosted me. And that was horrible too, because I didn't know what was going on. I had no idea whether, you know, what I needed to do to try to make things better. I was doing my urine screens when I could because, you know, my mother-in-law, she would tell me that she'd come get me like 4 or 5 times in a row this happened. She was like, oh yeah, I'll come get you, I'll take you down. And she would never show up. So then I called her, my caseworker, and I left her a message. I'm like, listen, I'm having a hard time finding reliable rides down there. I don't have my license right now. My husband is working out of town, and he doesn't get home till like 6 o'clock, and y'all close at 4. So I'm having a really hard time with this. You know, can we just send in our drug screens from our doctor each week? Because we got urine screened at our doctors once a week too. She was like, nope, like it wasn't good enough, and it was just. She just wanted so badly to find something on us, and I don't understand that. Like, they're supposed to want to keep families together, not break them apart or keep people that don't need to be in the system. You know what I mean? Go find kids that actually need help, because like even my my state appointed teacher was confused as to why she was at my house. She's constantly told me, I don't know why I'm here. I don't understand it. You guys are like the best family I've ever came to their house. Because every other person that I've ever been to their house, 99% of the time they don't even have the kid. So I can't even really teach them with the child in the home. Because she does teach like a behavioral thing and like how to discipline without, you know, busting ass or cussing or yelling or anything like that. It's, you know, she does that, and she's saying how hard it was to teach people that because the child wasn't there, so she can't make sure how it's being implemented correctly. All she can do is tell them what to say, and they can write it down or whatever, but they're not implementing it on their child because they don't even have them. Plus just the relationship that I have with my kids and, you know, just all that. She was like, I don't understand this case at all. I don't know. And the girl that opened the case on me was brand new. I feel like she was trying to not make a name for herself, but do everything like overly by the book. She was overly, I don't know how to put it. She just did something she shouldn't have, point being. So finally one day, my teacher comes and she goes, well, I found out that you have a new caseworker. She said, I've been trying to call your caseworker for weeks now. I knew that, of course, and I couldn't get a hold of her, and finally she called me back and got smart and snappy with me because you are no longer her, problem. She said, nobody informed me, and I didn't get anything in the mail. I didn't get a phone call. I didn't get anything. So how are we supposed to know that? She acted like a bitch about it. So we find out that whoever this guy is, she calls the guy, leaves him a message, lets him know the whole story or whatever, and he calls right back. Right back. And he goes, I looked over her case, tell her I will be there in an hour. So she goes, all right, well, we're not going to have our class today because he's going to come in an hour. If you need to make her lunch or something before he comes, I'm going to go ahead and go so you can get whatever you need done before he comes and you have to meet with him done. And I was like, oh, okay. So he comes to my house. He says, I looked over your case. You could tell he wasn't a fan. He wasn't following what the problem was. He literally walked through my house, didn't have anything to point out. The only thing that he said, literally, and it's always like, I've got all girls, plus I'm a girl, so it's always been like this. He said, okay, honey. He said, oh my God, what did he say? Oh, he said, looks like mommy has some laundry to do. That was literally the only thing that he said about anything. And I was like, yeah, I've always got laundry to do. And he laughed. And he said, no, I know, I'm a parent myself. And that was the thing with the other girl. She did not have kids. I even asked her, I was like, do you have kids? She doesn't have kids. Brand new, has no idea what the hell she's doing. Has no idea how to treat people. That's for sure. She was the most cold-hearted, rude person I've ever met in my life. She wanted, I don't want to say make a name for herself, but she wanted so badly to prove that I was a bad parent. And I don't know why, because I was nothing but cooperative with her, and so was Mike until she started, wouldn't let us turn in our drug test from a doctor. It's not like we are faking it, There's just so much more I can't really think of right now. So many more things that happened that were just so awful, and we were treated horribly during this process. But this man came, he walked through my house, he talked to Autumn for a second, and played with her for a second. Once again, he said, oh, she's really smart, she asked me how old she was, and he said, man, she speaks very well. I was like, yeah. And he said, all right. He walked to my door and he said, well, it was nice to meet you. Hope I never have to meet you again. I was like, yeah, you too. So he left, and I was like, I called my teacher and I was like, told her what he said, and I was like, I don't really know what that means. She said, well, hold on, let me call him. So she calls him, and he tells her pretty much that case was junk. There's no reason for her to have a case open. I'm closing it today. At a little over 4 months. If anybody here has ever been in this position, y'all know that they do not do that. Never do that usually. Usually you have to wait until the next review, which is every 3 months. It's quarterly. And I was in 4 months in a week or two. And he was like, no, I'm going to close it today. honestly, I think I probably could have gotten them in trouble with how I was treated, because it was clear that they had a problem with me because my history, way before I even had kids, they were using against me, because I was honest about it. I could have lied, you know, and said that never happened. Um, uh, and, yeah, so she called me back and she told me, she's like, listen, she said, he's gonna close the case today. I was like, okay, I was like, so I don't have to worry about it? Am I gonna get papers? And like, what's gonna happen? She said, well, I just want to let you know that, he and I talked, and he let me know that he had to throw some weight to get your case closed, because they don't usually do that. They'll usually make you wait. You know, I was at 4 and some odd months. They usually would make you wait until the 6th month and then close it on the quarterly review. But my case was just such bullshit, that he got it closed that day. So that's my story about it, basically. I'm not going to go into any more detail about it because it's already been 3 videos long. But what I'm saying is, that was the hardest. Well, I wouldn't say the hardest, because I've been through a lot of shit. Anybody that's been here for a while knows that I've been through a lot more shit than just that. Okay, you take a rest, baby. Been through loss after loss after loss in my life. You're sick? Sorry, honey, you don't feel good? Oh. That cookie make you not feel good? I ate a piece and I feel okay. I'm sorry, honey. Mommy, I'll hurry up and finish this so I can come rub your belly. So, anyways, my point is that... Oh, and the last thing about it is 2 or 3 months ago, that girl randomly would message me time to time and, like, try to act like my friend. Her and the guy ended up breaking up, and she went back to her husband, and, their kid has been taken from them, for her and her husband. Their kid got taken from them like 11 years ago. So it doesn't even bother her to think about how that would affect a parent, because her kid was taken a long time ago and she didn't even give a shit about it, you know? She let her ex not let her see her kid for like a year because he didn't want her to, because she would be around her ex-husband. The kid didn't even live with the ex-husband. He lived with the ex-husband's parents. But she didn't give a shit enough to even say, fuck you, I'm gonna go see my kid. So it didn't matter to her. It didn't bother her. But for somebody that their kids are their world, it's awful. It is the worst feeling in the world to be questioned about whether you're a good parent or whether you're abusing or neglecting your child. It's horrible. It's horrible. It's horrible. It is horrible. Believe me whenever I say, it is one of the most stressful, most degrading. You feel worthless. You question everything that you do. Even to this day, I still question things that I do because I'm worried that I'll get judged. Because now I know everything that I do, I will be judged for, just because I was an addict at one time. So I have to be an extra good parent. I have to be a 100% on top of my shit kind of parent, or I know that my past history will be used against me, to take down my motherhood. And, well, I take that back. I don't think that would ever happen in the same way again, because I think it was just that worker. I think that she had some kind of craziness. What was that? Who is that? I don't know who it is. But it just puts it in the back of your head, even if you know you're a good parent. I know I'm a good parent. My kids love me to death, and I love my kids to death. They are my world. They are my everything. They are my reason for living. I wanted to die. Literally. I was too much of a coward to just slit my wrist and get it over with. But I was taking handfuls of Xanax and doing rails as big as I could. I would do a rail so big that I would just keep going until my nose just couldn't suck up anymore. And then I'd fall asleep and hope that that was the time that I wouldn't wake up. And then I would wake up again disappointed that I was still alive. And I mean that. Genuinely. Disappointed that I woke up again. So then I met Mike and Patience. And I instantly loved Mike. But then when I met Patience, and she was just so sweet, and she was the complete opposite as what Autumn is, but I love them both for different reasons, obviously. But she was just so cute and quiet and chubby and just the cutest little thing, and my eyes lit up again, and I was happy again, and I felt like I had a reason to live, because this little girl was so cute and sweet and loving and smart, and she didn't have a mommy. Her mommy left her and never came back, and I was a mommy missing her children. I had places for children in my heart when my children were gone. So I needed that space to be filled, and she needed the space of motherly love to be filled. So it was like a puzzle piece going together whenever Mike and I got together. For me and Patience, it was like two little puzzle pieces going right together. And for that to be questioned breaks my heart even to this day. I'm like, yeah, it's so much. I think we've been going through a lot. We lost our house. Don't do that to people, man. I know that we get mad at each other, and I know that there's some really fucking shitty people around here. I know that there's abusers, there's been predators, there's been, I don't know about rapists exactly. I'm sure there is. I'm sure there's a rapist in disguise right around here in our community. At least one of them. We don't know about it because we've never proven anybody to be a rapist, but I'm sure there's at least one of them roaming around our community. There's probably a murderer roaming around our community. I know. There's some awful people out there. But worry about the real awful people. If you do not see abuse or neglect going on, or even somebody like screaming and cussing at their kid, that's still wrong. And I guess that's mental abuse. Don't waste the state's time. Don't call jobs or the DHHR or CPS or family members of people, or don't do any of that under false pretenses. You call a job and you tell them all this stuff, it's not because you think that they're a problem at their job, it's because you don't like them, so you want to hurt their real life. And that's not okay, guys. When are we going to stop this? And when did this become okay to do to each other? Come on, guys. Get it together. We're adults here. You know, and I don't like a lot of these people either, but I don't hate them either. I don't hate anybody. Even the people that I say I hate, I don't hate them. I just really don't like them, and I don't like the way they act. But we get so busy hating somebody that no matter what they do, it will be taken in a bad way. They could save a kitten from a tree and somebody would find something bad to say about it. When we get so busy, caught up in hating somebody so much, that we forget that these are real people with real feelings, and real families, and real jobs, and real children, and a real life, and real emotions, too. Just because you don't like somebody doesn't mean that they don't have a heart and emotions and all that, too. And I know these internet trolls, they're, yeah, nobody wants to even talk about that part. I don't even want to bring that up. We're all people here. And nobody deserves to have false accusations, allegations, whatever you want to call it, put on them just because you don't like them. So please just think about that, guys. I want this community to get fun again. We don't have to worry about, just because somebody don't like you, have to worry about what's coming. Because you made somebody mad. If somebody does something that you see, then yes, report that all day long. Nobody wants to see anybody get hurt or child abused or anything like that, but don't make shit up. I love you guys so much. Y'all are my family. You're my internet family. And I wish so badly